Good evening, America. Tonight, your privacy is under attack. Not in a novel, but on the road you drove this morning. They don't need a warrant. They don't need a crime. They don't even need your name. They just need your car across this country. More than 100,000 cameras sit on poles and photograph every vehicle that passes by. Not when you run a red light, not when you're speeding, every car, every hour, every day. They're called flock cameras, solar-powered boxes. They look boring until you understand what they actually do. They don't just read the license plate, they build a vehicle fingerprint. Make, model, color, dents, roof rack, and what bumper stickers are on the car. A Trump sticker, Second Amendment, don't tread on me, a church, a political candidate, or a cause. That sticker is not a decoration. It is a tag on a life that was supposed to be your own. When they come time to stamp it, tag the location, and dump it into a nationwide database that thousands of departments can search. You can type dark SUV with rear bumper damage. You can also type dark SUV with Trump sticker. The system conducts about 20 billion scans a month. The average car is photographed hundreds of times a year. Not because you're a suspect, but because you still have a life they have decided to collect. That is not a traffic camera. A traffic camera fires when you break a rule. These never turn off. One photo is a glance. A week is a diary. A month is a biography. A church, a lawyer, a gun shop, a rally. And if the system can see the sticker, it can sort the sticker. Find every car with a Trump flag or Second Amendment decal. Then look for the ones that rolled a stop sign or had a light out. Search the opinion first. Write the ticket second. The same machine works the other way. A union sticker, a Democrat candidate, a pro-abortion sticker. This is not a left or right issue. This is a people who were told they would be secure in their persons, their papers, and their effects. Whoever has that login decides whose politics get enforced. That's a target list with a summons on it, and it does not stop at the bumper. These cameras sit on the road to any meeting you go to. A church basement planning to primary a sheriff. A room plotting to replace a congressman. A living room taking on a governor. Republicans, Democrats, independents, you have the right to assemble. You have the right to petition. You have the right to meet in private and run a lawful campaign against the people in office peacefully at the ballot box. They wrote it so the state could not sit outside the hall and take down the horses. These cameras take down the plates. Who showed up on Tuesday? Who came back? Who drove in from the next county? No warrant, just the pole on the corner. The sheriff does not get a guest list of the meeting about replacing him. If he does, people stay home. People don't speak. People don't primary anybody. People that will not meet or refuse to primary these government officials will remain free. And it doesn't just stay local. Cities thought they bought a tool to catch stolen cars. Then they found federal agencies inside of their data. Immigration, ATF, fusion centers asking for Washington. In Columbus, Ohio, more than 15,000 immigration-related searches. Other cities, thousands more, including places that had written it was not allowed. Flock will say they have no contract with ICE. But they do. They collect it all, they store it, they share it up, they search it later. Now, to put these flock cameras in place, they did not ask the people. And that's why their contracts are dying. And this week it blew open. Nearly 15 officers documented using flock to stalk girlfriends, ex-wives, and family. Dozens of searches, firings, and charges have been applied to these bad officers. If they will hunt an ex, they will hunt a bumper sticker. If they will hunt their sticker, they will hunt the meeting. If Washington, D.C. can query on all of the data, this is not your police chief. This is a standing army of cameras. Cities are canceling some contracts. They couldn't get rid of them fast enough. Some cities bagged the lenses because they couldn't get out quick enough to remove them. Red towns, blue towns, all of them. They decided they would not trade essential liberty for a little temporary safety. Flock recently put out a press release, decided to store data for 7 days instead of 30. Add case numbers, audits, and a few more limits. But that's not enough. That's not giving back. That's admitting what they've been taking. The cameras still run. The stickers are still in the picture. The road to the meeting is still covered. Your road to work is still covered. Your road to church is still covered. George Orwell put the telescreen in the living room too. He documented the surveillance state quite well and how it was weaponized against the people in his book, 1984. This is directly affecting you. You're being tracked in your own country. But here, we still have courts. We still have a constitution. We still have votes. That is why you say it now. The false screen arrives under the guise of safety, as it always does. They're saying a camera glancing on a public road is not a search. A tracker on a car for 28 days is considered a search and needed a warrant. So why do you not need a warrant to locate vehicles for 30 days? Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. This is Ryan Samuels, host of The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget, you can call into the show, 561-786-2916. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Now, these things always start with good intentions. This is not a political scheme. The sheriff's not sitting there twisting his mustache trying to figure out ways to ruin your life. They're trying to figure out ways to make their job easier. And the easiest way to make their job is to be able to track people who commit crimes instantly and not chase them through neighborhoods, be able to look on cameras of where they are, where they're going, where they've been. And it makes their job a lot easier. Who does not want their job to be easier? But it would also be easier to stop all of crime if every family was assigned a police officer. And that police officer lived in their home, or that federal agent lived in their home. He watched what they did on a daily basis. He walked around. He looked through their cell phone. And he stopped crime before it committed, as it committed, or directly after. A camera is essentially the same thing. You know, this is history repeating itself. This is the same thing that happened after the Patriot Act was passed, and the spy agencies went crazy on digital surveillance, where they were looking at your cell phones, they were reading your emails, they were doing all of this without warrants, which is a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. Here is the CEO of Flock getting cornered by an interview.
You're saying Flock does not track people, correct?
Track people, that's right, and hold their movements like you asked. We're not tracking people.
But what do the Condor cameras do? They literally are designed to track a person, aren't they?
Not to track a person, no.
This is a Flock camera known as a Condor. Unlike the Falcon license plate reader camera, you'll notice this does track the movements of people. Whether or not it was designed to specifically track a person, you can see right now, in real time, no matter which way I move, the camera moves with me.
And that's not all that those cameras do, by the way. We've seen how they can even track your phone screen to find out what you're looking at.
I could watch a man rollerblade and then take a break to watch rollerblading videos on his phone. How? Because the camera's AI automatically zoomed in on it. Just like it zoomed in on a couple arguing at a street market in Atlanta. So what? They're still anonymous, right? No, they're not. Within 2 minutes of open source intelligence using a commercial facial recognition engine, I found out that one of them just finished medical school and the other is dealing with chronic irritable bowel syndrome.
There's a reason why some cops openly brag about how you can't even breathe without them knowing about it.
You have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh.
Now, you could make the argument that facial recognition software is awesome. It's great. Just like how they caught Luigi Mangione, who shot the CEO in the back of the head, who just pleaded guilty, by the way. And then they tracked they have their suspect, they load his picture into the thing, and then all the cameras look for it. Or the cameras look at a picture and then search the internet for who it is, who they're following, who they're picking up. How accurate is it? Not very. Not yet. It's not like DNA. The question that I always ask is, if a foreign country came here, say Florida was invaded by China, and China took over the state of Florida, they overthrew the government, and now they had access to all of the tools that the government had to spy and police its own people. Would you be terrified if a communist Chinese regime or a totalitarian regime like Kim Jong-un had access to these tools? Would you agree to it then? And if the answer is no, then nobody should have that tool. Nobody should have that power.
Flock license plate readers take a time-stamped photo of every vehicle that passes every camera. Police can search your historical travel information for 30 days. This creates a searchable database of everyone, not just the suspects of crime. Security researcher Ben Jordan.
And it's like if you were to build a graph of that sheet, and plot it to a map, now it's as if you've had a GPS on your car for an entire month.
By your own publications, 700,000 crimes a year are solved with Flock? Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Reported crimes in America, yeah. So there's a lot more that probably are being helped that aren't being reported. But yes, we have about 700,000 crimes that we are aware of that are being solved in part with evidence that's derived from a Flock safety device.
In order for that historical data to be of investigative value, you have to track every car for 30 days.
Again, I would challenge you on the word track. Tracking the whole of your movements is very different than knowing that you passed by one specific camera, 24 specific cameras. Those are different things.
And then the examples of tracking that vehicle from location to location to location.
But Flock's own webinars talk about its license plate reader's ability to track vehicles and people.
If you want to know how bad this Flock camera situation is, just watch the first 24 seconds of this video. Flock says its cameras don't track people. Its own training videos say otherwise. I watched this, my mouth literally dropped within 24 seconds. I'll play a little bit more for you, but just this first part is wild. Pay very close attention to when he says, this is a police department and these are all the other agencies and departments that it's sharing its information with. It's mind-blowing. It's literally crazy. Watch this.
In Boulder, Colorado, inside a small coffee shop.
The brighter areas are where the really high density of Flock cameras are.
Will Freeman runs the largest police camera tracking system in the nation.
If you click on any of these police departments, it'll show you who they're sharing with. So the lines going outward are the agencies that can access their data directly.
It's called DFlock. The app shows where the cameras are and which way they're pointed. How many cameras have you mapped?
88,970 cameras at the moment.
Why did you want to do this?
The main reason is to show people how invasive this is.
It's incredibly invasive. And they did it without your consent. This was not a bill that was passed. You didn't vote this into law. Notice how it's not a problem until it's already done because nobody looked at it and said, oh, this is going to be a problem. I'm sure there's plenty of people who said, wait a second, you're going to have surveillance videos taking down everybody's license plate that drives past it when they haven't committed a crime and running their tag. How many police departments are out there going out and finding people and giving them citations because they didn't use their turn signal and they saw it on a Flock camera? Because they don't like them or they don't like what they stand for. I mean, if you're driving around, you're probably do 10 violations on your way to work every day. 10. When I was a police officer, it was so easy to write so many tickets because of just the sheer amount of traffic violations on the book that we had the 3-ticket rule that you could only write 3 tickets, no more, unless they were involved in a hit and run or some sort of felonious crime. You were limited to 3. Because I could literally go to any vehicle and find, hey, this tire's a little bald. Hey, that tire's a little bald. Hey, so 4 tires don't have enough tread, so that's 4 tickets. Also, your rear tail light's out. You were going 3 miles over the speed limit. Then I followed you a little bit, and then you went 4 miles underneath the speed limit. So, yeah, your tint, here's $1,000 worth of tickets. It's very easy to do if you really want to be a prick. And it was so easy to do that they literally had to come out with a policy that the max you could write was 3. Here's Donald Trump being asked about Flock cameras.
These license plate scanners that are going up across the country, they're called Flock cameras. People are worried that the police might misuse them. Have you heard of them?
Yep.
Or what's your stance?
Well, it's being studied right now. You have pros and cons, right? It's being studied right now. We'll have an answer sort of as to our views on it over the next couple of weeks.
Donald Trump does not have a political philosophy about individual freedom. He does not, and he never will.
There are freaking...
That's it. So people are finding these all over the country, and they're documenting them. People are tearing them down. People are running them over. People are filling them with paint and all sorts of stuff. And don't do that. Call your local sheriff's office and tell the sheriff you're gonna campaign against them and run them out of office. But here's a video of somebody finding a flock camera.
There are freaking flock cameras at the gun range. This is the entrance to the gun range. So they got you coming in. They also got you going out. Today's Wednesday, so the gun range is closed until 2. So there's nobody here. Now these are in the driveway to the gun range. They're not out. They're not out on the road. This is only catching cars and trucks coming in the driveway to the gun range, and right there's the range. Unbelievable. I did send a records request to FWC for information on the flock cameras and the placement here. I've yet to get a response. I'll let you know if I do get a response. But if you come to the Ocala gun range, just understand that you're going to be on the flock camera. And who comes to the gun range? Well, of course, gun owners, people that are shooting.
Now, why would the government want to know the license plate of everybody who's a gun owner? Everybody who owns a gun, who goes to practice with a gun, oh, we need to know who these people are. We need to stop them. We need to track them. And then all you have to do is say, oh, well, this license plate of ABC123 went to the gun range. What else are they doing? Then you type it in. And there's no regulation, right? Understand, there is no regulation or very limited regulation stopping officers from just using it willy-nilly. An officer can just say, this guy went to the gun range. Now let's see where else he went. Okay, he went to the other side of Ocala. He went to the Equestrian Center. He went to Orlando. Oh, then he drove out to Nevada, and we got him going across the country. Okay, and then, right, so then he went here and he went there. Did he take his gun with him through a state? Because he just left directly from the gun range and then went to New York. So where's his gun? He brought his gun with him to New York. That's a felony. You can't bring a gun to New York. We need to share that with New York or whatever state they decide. But this is the problem. This is the slippery slope. You never give the government an inch. I posted something today, and it always breaks my heart to hear this from conservatives. But this is where conservatives lose me. And I'm a conservative, right? You could safely call me a conservative. I am much more libertarian. I believe our founding father was right, particularly Thomas Jefferson, on just about everything. I believe that Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, I believe even in John Locke, Thomas Aquinas, St. Augustine. I believe in the natural law. I believe in individual liberty. And I believe that government will crush it no matter who gets in there. Because humans are flawed. And flawed humans will try to dominate other humans. They will try to crush them. They will try to control them. They will try to manipulate them. It doesn't matter who it is. It's all people. Because we are all flawed and we are all power hungry and greedy and want to own and take over everything. That's why you do not give the government the power to do it. But I posted this post today. I said 0% of the population supports flock cameras, so why do they exist? Obviously, 0% of the population does not support flock cameras. That would be highly improbable. It's a lower percentage. And of course, you know, I'm a conservative podcaster. People see things in their feed, right? And then they're automatically calling me a liberal. Oh, you Democrat. The furthest thing from one. But go ahead, go on. Well, I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't need a camera. Okay, then let the government put one in your house. Let them put one in your bathroom. You're not doing cocaine in there? You might be. Let them put it in your car. Let them put a GPS tracker in your car. Better yet, let them put a device in your car where they can turn your car off or slow it down or speed it up if you start driving erratically. Give them the power to shut your vehicle down. You're not doing anything wrong. Let them look at all your bank accounts. Allow the IRS to see all of your transactions without filing for taxes. You cannot give the government power. And the first people who surrender power, who surrender liberty to government for safety is conservatives. It is. I did it. I'm guilty of it. I supported the Patriot Act back in 2003? I was a staunch supporter of it. Told Democrats they wanted to destroy our country. They wanted to allow Islamic radical fundamentalists to kill more people. They wanted another 9/11. This is my argument, how foolish it is and how hindsight is 20/20. But no, you don't let the government spy on you because it got out of control. They were turning on people's webcams. They started torturing people under the enhanced interrogation technique program the CIA was doing with cold rooms and waterboarding and things that the United States should not be doing because cruel and unusual punishment is a violation of your individual rights. Again, things I supported, but hindsight's always 20/20 as you grow and as you learn. But that's what I was hit with today. The same party and the same people who were outraged at the restrictions of freedom of speech on Twitter, on X, on Facebook, about being deplatformed, who were outraged at the government crushing their freedom of speech during COVID-19, who were outraged at the vaccine mandate. Well, why not? It's for everybody's safety. You're not sick, right? You're not hurting anybody. Go get the vaccine. It's the same concept as saying, as many of them said today, I'm not worried about cameras. I'm not doing anything wrong. That is the equivalent of saying, I trust the government with all of my information. If you're not worried about the government cameras tracking your every move, that means you trust the government enough not to abuse the power that you gave them. This is the same problem that we saw on January 6th. Now, again, January 6th, a lot of people did a lot of very bad things. 100% without a doubt. The problem is a lot of people didn't do anything. Literally nothing wrong. A lot of people came after the mayhem, after the mess, walked into the Capitol building, and then later were hunted down and arrested by the FBI. And what did these good, God-fearing, loving American patriots do when the FBI showed up at their door? Hey, man, thank you for your service to this country. I'm willing to help you with anything that you need. Come on in, take a look around. I have nothing to hide. I will tell you where I was. I will cooperate fully. I don't need a lawyer. I trust you guys. And they all got crushed. And they all went to prison. the innocent ones, because they trusted in their government. Patriotism is not that you trust your government. It is that you love your country. You should fear your government. You should fear, a chill should run up your spine every time the government gets a little bit more power, because it does nothing but expand. Let's watch the rest of this video.
So they have a record of people who are coming to the gun range and going to the gun range. Now, as far as I know, this isn't a big place for crime. I know they had a couple robberies out here years ago, but I haven't heard anything since. But why does FWC or whoever put these here, why do they need flock cameras at the public gun range? And of course, we're on flock. You tell me, why do we need cameras at the public gun range?
And they also
there are freaking
they have them everywhere. It's just not a public gun range. Just look at it. Here's one at a splash pad.
Have a flock camera, literally facing the kids' splash pad. I mean, it's literally right here outside the gate.
How many license plates are in the middle of that water park? How many tags are they scanning in the middle of that water park? How many?
I just don't understand it. Why do you need a flock camera facing kids? I mean, it's like literally right here. That shit don't make no sense.
Now, the police have used this before. And you would think this technology is so great that it's flawless, right? Well, here's a video. This is humiliating, and this is embarrassing for this officer. Number one, dude, you never act this way. I don't care how confident you are in your ability, how confident you are that they're the suspect, that there's always a situation where they're not. This detective used a flock camera system to track down this suburban housewife and arrest her. And it turns out, just watch.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of flock firsthand.
Bragging. You can't get in or out without us knowing. Can't happen.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get.
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
First of all, I'll give you a little piece of advice from a former police officer. Okay. Hi, my name's so-and-so from whatever police department. Are you so-and-so? I don't answer questions. Oh, I'm just trying to find out if you're so-and-so. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I don't answer questions. Can you get off my property now? I don't answer questions. That's it. I don't answer questions. I plead the fifth. You're going to have to talk to my lawyer. Where were you last night? I don't answer questions. The information you give them, they use against you. They don't know you. They don't like you. They're like a salesperson trying to sell you a car. Right? I got into sales after I got out of the police department. That's why I got so good at sales. I retired at 42. Because I got very good at getting people to confess. A lot of times, I would say an overwhelming majority of the time, the police know you did it. They can't prove it. So they're casually trying to get you to admit it. One of the main lines is, this is the best. I love this. This is your last time to be honest with me, man. Your last time to be honest with me. Because if you're not honest with me, there's nothing I can do for you. If you're honest with me, then I'll be able to help you out. No, because if you're honest with him, you're going to jail. If you're not honest with him and he really does know, you're going to jail anyway. Shut up. You say, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how that got there. I don't know what it is. Man, I need a lawyer. I don't feel comfortable talking to you. Period. That's it. End of discussion. No need to get involved in anything. I don't talk to cops, man. Appreciate you. Oh, you don't talk to cops? I've had it. I've had it happen to me. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't talk to cops. Why not? Because I used to be one. You're not my friend. You're not here to help me. This is a prime example of that. She's over there talking to this officer on her porch. And he's literally accusing her of a crime. And she's going, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he's accusing her more and more and more. And she's like trying to help him because she's actually innocent.
Thing he pulled out on the body cam is that flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at the time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock camera.
No, what I did was, I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You said this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime.
Now, let me explain something to you. Innocent people go to jail every day. Had she not had a camera on her truck and that doorbell video camera, she would have went to jail. Do you know who prosecutes in front of the same judge every day and has a relationship with the judge every day? The prosecutor that works for the state, that shares an office in the same building where the judge is, that they sit in a cafeteria. You know who doesn't have an office? Your defense attorney. You know who works with the police every single day? The prosecutor, the district attorney, the state attorney, whatever they're called in whatever state you live in. When you are charged with a crime, the likelihood of you being convicted is extremely high because they have it down to a science, or they make it to the point where it's not even worth you taking it to trial and taking the risk, because they're going to say, listen, you got caught stealing a package. It's no big deal. You plead guilty. You got to go do a little bit of community service. Go volunteer at a soup kitchen for 6 hours, and then it comes off your record. Nobody will ever even know. The arrest will be expunged. What are you going to do? You're going to go to trial and risk going to jail for a year or 6 months or 90 days, whatever it is? No, you're going to take the plea deal, whatever. I got away. It's like I didn't do it anyway because it doesn't affect me. But you still were forced into pleading guilty.
What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a flock camera, that detective
It's literally how it is in our country. Everything is backwards.
would not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisanna Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize.
He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, I mean, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, like, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Who's watching the watchers in these cases?
Well, the city council. The city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility in that case. Our point of view has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
He's right about that. They're just providing them with the tool, unfortunately. But that's just one instance. One instance. And people hate these things. They freaking hate them. They're tearing them down. They're running them over with their cars. They're destroying them. Do not do that. You don't have to. They're just going to put another one up, and they're going to use your tax money to do it.
This camera has been cut down, completely sprayed over with an American flag on it. And not far away, there's another flock camera on the ground as well. HPD says it's investigating this, but so far, there are more questions than answers. These cameras, meant to help solve crimes, now becoming the target of one, both cut in half and covered in spray paint.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the cameras were there until you actually pointed that out.
Juan Rodriguez's business, Spar Houston, is located by Washington Avenue and Westcott, where this happened. These are flock cameras, meant to read license plates and alert police if they're connected to crimes. Rodriguez says he didn't see who did this, but he's left wondering why they did.
That's what it sounds like it would be. Somebody just protesting, their rights are being violated or something like that.
Flock cameras have been used in the city of Houston since 2021, according to the company. The Houston Police Department tells us they were notified these cameras were damaged on the morning of July 4th. As far as the repair costs, HPD says it depends on who is responsible for these specific cameras. While some cameras are installed through city contracts, others are done with neighborhoods or private groups that choose to share footage with police. HPD couldn't confirm who was responsible for these cameras, only saying this is an ongoing investigation. ABC 13 reached out to Flock asking if they were aware of this situation and what the repair process would look like.
What the repair process would look like. They're just going to charge the city. God knows what they're charging for the camera. Probably 30 grand a camera. Cost them. It's a little shitty camera with a solar panel on it. And probably some data. Some cellular data. Here is another better way to protest it. With a giant sign that's blocking the camera.
I'm protesting this flock camera. Taking pictures of everybody that comes by here and putting it in a file. I don't like being tracked.
I'm here in St. Pete with Carl, and you might have seen him on the internet because he is known as
the flock blocker.
The flock blocker. He is sitting with his sign, blocking flock cameras. It is hot out here, let me tell you, in the middle of the Florida sun, but he believes protesting against surveillance is very important.
I want to be free to go wherever I want to go in this country. I know that once I get out of this country, I don't have any rights. That's why I stay here. I'm very disappointed in our government to allow this to even start. We're going to go to council meetings. We're going to go to the state. And we're going to go to Washington with this. They're taking it away.
Good. That's how you fight it, right? So that is precisely how you fight the flock cameras. That's exactly how you fight big government. We talk about it all the time on this show to keep the government limited locally. Here is a police chief who's furious that people are criticizing. How dare you criticize the police chief for adding flock cameras? How dare you?
I decided to get one to help my community, to help catch the bad guys, and I'm getting ridiculed for it. You guys want to call and cancel it? Go right ahead. I have no problem. But the next time grandma's missing or your car got stolen.
Yep. Insert fear.
Or you're missing money and I can't help you. Sorry. I'm just trying to be the guy. I have given 20 years to this city. My blood, sweat, and tears, missing family events, holidays. I've worked nights, weekends, and everything. And this is what I get for helping?
Yeah, but you're not helping. You're illegally searching people's vehicles. You're illegally tracking people's movements. You're not helping. And like I said, his heart is in the right place. He believes he's doing something good. This is a tool for a police officer to do their job better, to catch people faster. Somebody robs a bank, you turn on the flock cameras, they find the car in 3 seconds, you stop a bank robber from getting away. A mass shooter's going from building to building, gets in their car to leave, flock camera, you find him immediately, you shut him down, you save thousands of lives or hundreds of lives or tens of lives, potentially. But it is far worse to allow this surveillance to get out of control than to allow police to do their job as they always have. With people calling cars in, with officers out there looking for it, with helicopters looking for it. It's the way it's always been done, and it's the way that it should continue to be done. And to put this like, oh, for 20 years, I have served this community. Dude, shut up, bro. Shut up, man. I've given my life to this community. Shut up, dude. Shut up. That was your choice, number one. Number two, that does not leave you beyond scrutiny. You can be scrutinized. You should be scrutinized. You're the chief of police.
I am not a rule breaker. I'm a law enforcement officer. I take that oath very freaking seriously. And to get slammed like I did tonight, good luck. That's all I'm going to say is good luck. How to do background checks on half the people that make comments.
Yeah. See that? You heard that? You heard that ending there? We ought to do background checks on half the people that do comments. Why? Maybe one of them has a warrant. You found the person. Now you're going to go search for the crime? I want to know who that person is. I'm going to take their license plate and put it in the flock camera now, and I'm going to see they ran a red light 30 days ago, and I'm going to give them a ticket. How dare they question me? You just heard him say it. That's the problem with these cameras. That's the problem with police having this much power. They should not, nor should they ever. It's not even up for discussion. Here's another clip. These are people, some of these people, they don't know. They're just finding flock cameras and then saying, oh, they're pointing it at these people for whatever. Who knows? Who knows?
Say I'm pissed is the understatement. Look at this right here. This is a flock camera. There it is, right there. There's the camera lens. And guess what this is? This is my bedroom window. It's facing directly towards my bedroom window. What is that? Over there on that intersection is 2 more flock cameras. Why was there a need to put one right here, directly beside an apartment building, directly beside a window, which happens to be my bedroom window right there, and it's facing my window now.
That's a little creepy.
So we're gonna be wrapping.
Oh, she's putting tape on her window. Good, smart choice. Did the city do anything?
The window's finished. Ran out of film, which thought we were, but.
Well, I'd like to know if the city did anything about it. I mean, that's probably not intentional.
Nationwide backlash.
Yeah, this is. I actually got a phone call from a couple of my buddies, more than one. Right? I know they're probably listening, and I'll never disclose ever under penalty of death sources that I have. But I got a couple of calls from quite a few officers who were concerned about these. Most of your officers are very good officers at the street level. As you kind of get up, it gets a little bit more political, like that police chief. We should be doing background checks on these people who are making comments.
Nationwide backlash against flock safety cameras is escalating, with some angry Americans destroying the cameras over fears about mass surveillance.
Dana Marie McNichol is joining us now from Tampa after speaking with one protester who is aiming to block these cameras. Hello, Dana Marie.
Hey, good morning to you all. That's right. I had a really interesting conversation with him about these cameras right behind me. Flock cameras scan every single license plate. They also log identifying data like make, model, and color, and they're in at least 43 states. Police say they are critical in fighting crime, but other people say the technology is an invasion of privacy. So some are calling this vigilante vandalism, and the movement is spreading fast. Flock camera poles sawed in half in upstate New York, several covered in spray paint in Texas and Ohio. One California man was charged with a felony after running several over. Vandals are hitting every corner of America. One Minnesota town had all 8 flock cameras stolen in one night. Police say it cost $3,000 to replace each one, ultimately costing local taxpayers. But not all are resorting to vandalism. Carl Gunn in St. Petersburg, Florida, is peacefully protesting by what he is calling blocking the flock.
But there's only one of them. He needs like an army of people doing that. That'd be freaking awesome. Here's another Fox News report. The thing is, too, that you got to understand is that right now they're saying, oh, this is just, they're just checking tags, right? Yeah, well, then they'll be checking facial recognition. Then they'll be checking what's in your car. Do you have a cup in there? Are you smoking? Is that marijuana? Do you have a warrant? Do you owe somebody money? Do you have a debt collection out? Like the level of escalating that it has the potential to go is endless. I mean, it's endless. You can't leave your house, right? So understand that. Like if you live in the United States of America, right now you cannot leave your house without the police tracking where you went. You don't have any privacy. The police are going to know where you went, or at least what road you went on what day and what time you were at this place. I don't want that.
Keeping artificial intelligence in focus. There are a lot of positives. You know I'm a fan. Today, there is some concern over using AI to watch us. So here it is. Flock Safety Corporation uses artificial intelligence-powered license plate readers that have rapidly spread across the country. And the company says law enforcement is using them to help recover vehicles and solve crimes. Excellent. Critics are now saying, though, it could create a surveillance network that can be tapped into without a warrant. Some cities...
There already is a surveillance network. It's the flock cameras. There's also, I remember we used to do school shooting exercises, and we took over a high school one day, and the second we got up, we flipped a switch in the van, right? In our SWAT van. And I'm sitting in there, we flipped a switch when we arrived, and all of the school's cameras were now here. We had them in the van. We could see every camera in the city, anywhere we pull up through Wi-Fi, boom, boom, boom. Yep, jump over that firewall, clip. We now have all the cameras. So the police can kind of do that anywhere. They roll up to a mall, they can clip, let me look at all the cameras. They can do it to your house too. If you have cameras at your house, they can roll up and boop, they can now see all of your cameras. You used to need a warrant for these types of things. Patriot Act, Patriot Act.
Cities and towns in Connecticut are now removing the systems over those concerns. A new op-ed is asking, you never approved this camera, so why is it watching you? Nate Foy is in Darien, Connecticut with more. Nate, fascinating.
Yeah, there's a big debate going on about this, Harris, and these flock cameras are everywhere. In 49 states across the country, including here in Connecticut where we are, you can see one of those flock cameras over my shoulder. And essentially what they do, Harris, is they track every single license plate of every car that drives by, but more than that, also identifiable factors on cars, like, say, a bike rack or a bumper sticker or even a dent in the vehicle. Then
a bumper sticker. What if that bumper sticker says F. Sheriff Williams, which I happen to agree with? What if that bumper sticker says that? Then what? Or F. Officer Jones of this county, and he sees that, or another officer sees that. Or support the other guy for sheriff, and let's get this guy out of here.
all that information goes into a database that is controlled by Flock's customers, which includes law enforcement. Critics argue this creates a mass surveillance network of law-abiding citizens. As you mentioned, some towns in Connecticut are now opting out of the cameras, and they argue that it doesn't work well enough to justify the privacy concerns.
If we could point to specific cases where it had done its job and provided utility to the town, maybe it would have been a harder decision, but with the data privacy concerns, it was really just why are we doing this at this point?
But others, Harris, say the cameras improve public safety. A police chief in Ohio, for example, tells Fox that his officers recently tracked down a missing person on the other side of the state using that Flock camera network.
We've had numerous.
Of course, you're gonna have successes. You're gonna have successes. The same way you're gonna have successes if you let the police monitor everything you do on everybody's cell phone. You're going to have zero crime. You're going to have zero drug trafficking. You're going to have zero conversations about any of that stuff. If you let them put a camera in your car and in your house, they're going to find and solve crimes. Nobody's arguing that you're not going to solve and find more crimes. The question is it worth it?
Success stories from missing children that have been recovered to missing at-risk adults that have been recovered. Stolen vehicles recovered, and it has helped us solve a number of serious crimes over the years.
Take a look at these numbers, Harris. According to Flock, across the 6,000 communities that it serves in the United States, Flock technology contributes to solving 2,800 crimes every single week.
All right, I'm going to stop right there. That's what you hear in the media, okay? I'm going to give you the officer's perspective. If we needed more money for my patrol unit, right? So if I was in my zone or whatever, we would log more calls. If we needed additional officers because we just had too many, I was just too busy, strung too thin, then we would just create more calls, right? What is a crime considered in this data? These are things I would like to know. Is a crime a traffic violation? Is that how you're doing it? Oh, yep. We solved the traffic violation. We solved 2,700 traffic violations and 100 criminal speedings. I'm not saying that's what I'm just making it up, but I know they fudged the numbers. I know how they fudged the numbers. I know that if your chief wants to look good and he wants to show, because there's an election coming up, he wants to show the media that crime is down, they're going to downgrade armed robberies to just burglaries. Or they're going to downgrade a battery to an assault. Or just a verbal altercation. They're going to downgrade it in the system, even though is the type of call, even though the way it planned out is totally different. They manipulate the system all of the time. No chief of police is going to willingly allow his officers to show the public that, man, we're getting our butts kicked out here. There's way too much crime. They're going to downgrade it. They're going to show that there's too much crime. If they need more money, they're going to say, well, man, there's a lot of crime here. We need more money. And then the election comes. I cleaned up the streets. Look at what I have done. It's all BS, man. I promise you. Ask 90% of officers out there will tell you the same thing. It's BS. We're going to downgrade this burglary to just an alarm code. That's what we're going to do.
Now, flock cameras are also wrapped up in the immigration enforcement debate. The ACLU is concerned that ICE will be able to access data from...
I don't give a shit. I don't care
Appears
about
to be
ICE.
covered in a...
Here is another sheriff giving out a reward for a destroyed camera.
This camera was set to keep us alerted for sex offenders that possibly go into our park, that children are there. So I hope you're happy with this. It was to keep our kids safe. That's what.
Interesting. Because earlier they were saying that, what did they say? That they're not using facial recognition software? So how do you keep a sex offender out of a park? Right? If it's inside of the park. I mean, maybe it's in the parking lot is what he meant to say. I don't like the flock camera idea. Destroy them all. Don't go out there, and that's not what I'm saying. Chef Lady said there are towns in New Hampshire taking the cameras down. Yeah, they are. They're taking them down across the country. And primarily, the reason they're doing that is because officers got caught mismanaging the system. Imagine that. You give a bunch of dudes access to a system where they could track people. They're going to track people. So I think over like 50 or 70 or 100 officers have been arrested for tracking their ex-wives or their ex-boyfriends or hot chicks they pulled over 6 months ago. Where they are, where they're being. One guy was tracking his ex-girlfriend and then pulled her over and said, "Oh, I thought your new boyfriend would be here because I was going to harass him." This is what's happening in your country. This is precisely what is happening in your country. Now, is it happening in your town? This is where we get to the point where we talk about almost every show. Where do you live? Do you live in Ocala, Florida, where they have flock cameras at the shooting range? When you go shoot, they track. The government tracks you going in and going out. You can't just shoot without being registered with the government as somebody who goes shooting at this range. Do you live in Connecticut where they have cameras in women's windows? Call your city council, call your congressperson, call your state senator, your state local legislator. These are things that we need to address. This is how you make meaningful change. The founding fathers set this system of government up so that you would never have to resort to revolution again. It would be a peaceful revolution where you could vote, where you could assemble. Look at the First Amendment to the Constitution. The right of the people to assemble, to speak, freedom of the press. All of those things are your recourses against government tyranny. That government can, of all things, cannot stop you from doing that. So I can go out to a flock camera and I can say, hey, this thing is spying on you and this guy is responsible and you need to remove him from office. That's protected free speech. It's political speech. You can start your own PAC and say, I'm out here trying to find somebody to run against Sheriff Williams because he supports these flock cameras and he is hurting people and he is violating the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, and I am taking donations to find a candidate and replace them. Protected political activity. That is the point. Back before the United States was founded, you used to have to pick up a gun and go to war. That was it. or beg the king, "Oh, please don't do that." And he just laughed in your face because they had too much power. So there's no reason for that type of act nowadays. You need to petition the government for your grievance. You need to show up at your city council meeting. You need to make a stink about it. You need to talk to your neighbor. You need to call your congressperson. You need to call your state representative. And you need to put an end to this nonsense about them spying on you with freaking flock cameras, dude. They don't need it. They don't need AI. You don't need AI policing. That is the last freaking thing you need is AI policing. Nobody wants that crap. Screw that. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's it. We went a little bit over today, but that's okay. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you're tuning in for the first time, follow the Ryan Samuel Show. Download it on the podcast tomorrow. If you missed it tonight, you can replay it when I upload it, or you can listen on your way to work tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Grateful to have you guys always. I know I argue with you in the comments, but that's just because it's who I am. It's my personality. So appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow night. We are live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ryan Samuel Show. Don't forget to like,